and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Friday. Yes, Friday, as today we got a bonus toy news. Once again, this week the news so big, had to separate it into two different videos. Going to do wrestling figures today, talking everything and anything wrestling figures. Tomorrow, traditional toy news on Saturday. Everything else, the whole kit and caboodle. We're going to talk about werewolves. We're going to talk about sausages. We're going to talk about the Flint HasLab with bonus Snowcat. All of that in the toy news tomorrow. But today on Friday, 4th of July, I got my best 4th of July shirt going on right here today. We're going to celebrate the 4th of July with a little bit of wrestling figure news and a lot of stuff from all the retro companies, our friends over there at Power Town, Major Bendy's, and of course, Mattel and Jazzwares. We're going to dive into all of it here today in this very video. But first off, I should mention Jay'sToysAndGames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15%. Got to thank Jay's Toys and Games for sponsoring this very YouTube video. And if you're a local resident, of course, of Jay's, they got 3 brick and mortar locations in the Des Moines, Iowa area. They have 10% off everything in their stores this weekend. So shout out to them over there. A lot going on with 4th of July and action figure game. And I did pick up some stuff at Jay's this week. You'll see that in the weekly purchases on Sunday. So stay tuned to that. But they're not the only ones getting the 4th of July game. Pro Wrestling Tees, 20% off with USA 25. Perfect time to pick up your very own Kyle Peterson t-shirt. Head over to ProWrestlingTees.com. Of course, search Kyle Peterson and then use that code. And if you're not going to get my shirt, you best be getting some Terry Funk t-shirts. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'll get a shirt of my own too. Maybe. We'll see what's going on. But that's going on over at Pro Wrestling Tees as well. A lot going on, of course, 4th of July weekend. A lot of people going to parades, grilling, all that kind of fun stuff. Hopefully, whatever you're doing, you are enjoying it. But I should also mention the Patreon. Of course, we're now in the month of July. June Patreon winner video up, of course, over there on Patreon. Appreciate all the Patreon support. Patreon giveaway for the month of July, I guess kind of patriotic. It's not Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but it is one Hulk Hogan. Of course, Real American Beer fame, I believe. I do got the older legends right here. We're going to give this away, and we're also going to give this away, the brand new Hulk Hogan Target exclusive. Both of these will be the giveaway to one Patreon winner this month. So check out the Patreon. You get a chance at the giveaway. You get a bonus monthly Q&A over there. This month's Q&A is going to be all about San Diego Comic-Con. I'm going to answer all the questions about how to get there, what I'm doing, how I get there, all that kind of fun stuff will be in the Q&A this month. Also, of course, you get all the videos early over there on Patreon. You get Kyle Peterson, this channel, and my second YouTube channel. You get all those videos early. You get all the glamour shots. You get all kinds of stuff. You also get my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, wherever podcasts are found. New episodes every single Tuesday with video cast on YouTube. Make sure you give it a 5-star review and shoot it over to me at TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. You can get read, of course, on the podcast there. So my wife, Angie, and I breaking it all down every single week on the podcast. And coming up here, not this week, but the next week, guest co-host of the podcast, Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane will be with me. He will be filling in for my wife, Angie, who will be in the city of brotherly love. Hopefully not getting too much brotherly love over there, but she will be in Philadelphia with her sisters and her mom on a little girls trip. Oh, shout out to the girls trip out there. But check out the podcast if you have not. Check out the Patreon. Check out Jay's. Check out Pro Wrestling Tees. Check it all out. And I guess check out Ringside Collectibles. Big 4th of July special going on right now. They got the big sale. And of course, Kyle saves 10% over there at Ringside Collectibles, which segues into Mattel. Let's start our wrestling news here with Mattel. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to dive into. But this week, we saw a bunch of pre-orders over at Ringside Collectibles. A lot of different toy lines. Elite 120 pre-order is up. Cody Rhodes ×2. Of course, Cody is the chase. Unfortunately for me, I was in a meeting this week. Ringside, they just kind of put these up, and it is what it is. I missed out on the Cody Chase, unfortunately. I was going to pre-order that like I always do, and it was already sold out by the time I saw it was up there. So unfortunately for me, I'm going to be trying to track down a Cody Chase. Hopefully I can find that. Don't think it'll be too hard. But Elite 120 is Cody ×2. Once again, you got LA Knight. You got Roman Reigns. Have we ever had a Roman Reigns figure before? We got Lola Vice, first time in the line. That's a 2-in-1. I'm going to have to pick up 2 of those. And then, of course, the Wyatt 6, we got, of course, Joe Gacy, first time in the line. So Elite 120 up for pre-order on Ringside right now. Also, greatest hits, and we're not exactly sure what these greatest hits are. We got Jacob Fatu in this one. We might see maybe some torso changes like we saw with Solo once upon a time. We'll see where that goes. We got Jacob Fatu, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not sure what Stone Cold that is. I would not be shocked to see that as the Hollywood Blondes version, though. We just recently got the Pillman. I could see them doing that in the greatest hits here. Cody Rhodes, you never know what you're going to get with Cody. I got to imagine a lot of people have Cody Overload. And Cody, good friend of the channel right here. I got Cody Overload as well. But we got another Cody coming there. And we got Logan Paul coming to the greatest hits line. So a lot of different heavy hitters in that line. We'll see what those end up being. I would have to think San Diego Comic-Con for all these. We'll see all these kind of things in hand. Ultimate 28, I'm hearing a lot of people not a big fan of this Ultimate 28 line. To me, it feels okay. I don't know. It's got Eddie Guerrero. Some people saying we need another Eddie. I always like Eddie figures. I like the looks of this one. I like the more colorful attire. I'm here for it. We'll see how it is when we get it in hand, of course. Tiffany Stratton, first time in the Ultimate line, so I would think that would make some people happy. And then Uncle Howdy, first time in the line as well as an Ultimate Edition. That should be an interesting figure. Have to think that would be pretty toyetic. We'll see how that sells as well. And then we do got Top Picks 2026 edition. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Once again, not sure exactly what those are going to be. I wouldn't be shocked to see another one added to that Top Picks. It kind of feels weird to only have 2 Top Picks, doesn't it? I guess we'll see where that goes. But a lot of pre-orders up on Ringside right now. I should also mention, I did unbox this week. Mattel was nice enough to send me an early sample of the San Diego Comic-Con John Cena. I unboxed that on the channel this week. Check it out if you did miss that. I'm going to probably pick up a second one via Mattel Creations. I would pick one up at the show, but I don't like lugging stuff around. I don't like to try to put it in my carry-on. I don't like to try to mail it, all that rigmarole. I'll probably just buy it on Mattel Creations, get it shipped to me whenever it does come, because I want a mint-on card version of that one. I already pre-ordered all my NECA stuff, so I'm good there. I don't need to lug that around. As of right now, San Diego Comic-Con, I'm really after the Cold Slither Hasbro box set. I'd love to have 2 of those. And then, of course, the AEW exclusive, which we'll get into here in a little bit. Maybe Jada Toys, maybe Beast Kingdom. We'll see what Todd McFarlane comes with. And who knows what's going on with Super 7. So we'll find out. Should get clearer over the next couple of weeks in the toy news, and a little bit more clear in toy news tomorrow. So stay tuned for that video once again. But we're not done with Mattel news this week. Mitch Craig over there on Twitter, the X, whatever you want to call it. He posted these. Now, I don't know. These are, I guess, rumored lineups. We'll see what ends up happening. But I believe Matt Cardona even said he heard the same thing. So who knows? Where there's smoke, there's fire is what I would say. But it looks like the next Rumble Elite set. And once again, I wouldn't be shocked to see these at San Diego Comic-Con, or at least renders at minimum, but wouldn't shock to see figures. Looks like John Cena coming to the Rumble set. Once again, it is the year of John Cena. It's going to go into 2026. Be prepared for more John Cena figures, and we'll get a bunch more of his final run next year as well. So just, like I said, be prepared for it. It's kind of like Cody and Hulk Hogan before him. John Cena back in the game here. One of the guys with the most figures ever. Remember back to the Jakks days? I know we got some old school collectors here. There was a John Cena in every single Adrenaline, Treacherous Trio, Ring Rage, Ruthless Aggression, Exclusive. John Cena coming out of our ears at all times. So we got John Cena in the Rumble line. CM Punk looks to be a throwback Punk. I'm here for that, of course. You know I'm here for the Ultimate Warrior. Give me all the Ultimate Warriors. We do not get enough Ultimate Warriors. I can't wait for the 40th anniversary of the Ultimate Warrior. They better spare no expense. It better be like Hulk Hogan ×2 on that 40th anniversary. I'm going to bring that up to Steve and Bill when I'm at San Diego Comic-Con. There's no doubt. Got to get me those Ultimate Warrior figures. You know me. But Ultimate Warrior, part of the Rumble set. Once again, he was in the past as well. We also got LA Knight, no stranger. Do we need more LA Knights? I guess your verdict's out on that one. And then the Build-A-Figure is one Corey Graves. Been a heck of a long time since we got a Corey Graves figure. I am here for that. Get me the Michael Coles. Get me the Corey Graves. Get me the... Byron Saxton. I think it's fair to get him one of those. I mean, you could even get a Kathy Kelly possibly, but I think we need more of those kind of things. And I think Mattel is leaning towards that. We're seeing that here in these waves as Build-A-Figures. I am here for some more of that. But now we go to the WrestleMania lineup. Jake the Snake, the Roberts, once again from Mattel. John Cena, shocker there. Stardust, I'm excited for this one. If it holds up to be that outfit, I am a big fan of that outfit for Stardust, so I can't wait to get that one. Rather have that than just another Cody, no offense, of course. And then another guy, no stranger to the line, Seth Rollins back in there. But the Build-A-Figure is very interesting. It's Sam Roberts. I mean, a deep cut Build-A-Figure. Nothing against Sam Roberts, of course, a good friend on Instagram, all that kind of stuff, you know, all over WWE, all over the Busted Open radio show. He's got his own podcast, Sirius XM. He's all over the place. A lot of us know who Sam Roberts are, but it's not quite Mean Gene Okerlund. It's not quite Gorilla Monsoon, Bobby Heenan, Lord Alfred Hayes. It's not quite all these other announcers we maybe would want ahead of Sam Roberts. Once again, nothing against Sam. And this is going to be really, really cool for Sam. And I do appreciate that he is an action figure collector, so he will get a kick out of this. So it is fun. It just wouldn't be my first choice. And I think most people would think that as well. But kudos to Sam Roberts, if this does hold true, to get the Build-A-Figure part of the WrestleMania wave. Very cool to see that. But that's a lot of Mattel news this week. Once again, the John Cena San Diego Comic-Con exclusive unboxing is up on the channel. Check it out if you missed it. Be interested to hear if you're going to pick that up at San Diego Comic-Con. Of course, Mattel Creations exclusive as well. But now we turn our attention over to AEW. And AEW started earlier this week with a surprise drop on Pro Wrestling Tees. Apparently in stock, not in time for 4th of July, but it is 4th of July MJF. That's what we're going to call it. Like a young Apollo Creed, just white and Jewish is what he is. But looking interesting. I like the looks of this. A lot of people don't like the price point. It is what it is. That's Pro Wrestling Tees. They charge an arm and a leg to ship. It is what it is. You can't fight City Hall. It's their exclusive. They're going to charge what they want to charge. And the best way, if you don't like it, you pass on it. That's what I always say. But it does look really cool. One of 3,000 edition. I did pick up 2 of these. I want to unbox one of these. It might be time to do a top 10 4th of July American style figures maybe next year on the channel. We did a top 5 a couple years back. Might be time to do a top 10. We'll see what happens there. And this one would have to be in the running, you would think. But hopefully shipping out in the next week or so, and we'll get the unboxing a little late for 4th of July, but we'll get it done on the channel. And then the other big news this week, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive officially announced. I said a couple of weeks ago there would be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and it officially is out. It is Swerve. Of course, Swerve Strickland, taking the world by storm with AEW the last couple of years. 1 of 1,000 that's making a lot of people sweat, myself included, as I would like to get 2 of these if I possibly can. $40 price point. And I've already had multiple people message me, Kyle, I know you're going to San Diego Comic-Con. Can you pick one of these up for me? Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Now, you got to take that business step back, I guess is what you got to do with this one here. San Diego Comic-Con is an expensive trip. You got to get your hotels, which are super expensive, your airfare, your Ubers, your rent-a-car, whatever you're going to do, however your transportation is going to be there. Obviously, you got to pay for all your food while you're there. You got to eat something. You're going to be tired if you don't. And then, of course, all these exclusives, you got to win a lottery. So you have to put your name in a lottery to even get a chance to buy these. Now, that sucks in itself, as last year I got iced on Mattel. I ended up getting them off Mattel Creations, but I couldn't get them at the show because I didn't win the lottery. And then beyond that, for like Jazzwares, you got to wait in a line. Remember that Sting drop? I waited like 2 hours in line to purchase that Sting. So nothing against anybody. I understand, oh, I kind of know Kyle. I can reach out to him. He'll pick it up for me. Even if I could pick it up for you, then I got to carry it around the show all day. And then I got to put it in my luggage or mail it for you there. Sorry, it's a whole rigmarole. I'm not going to do that. And just think of all the money you're saving by not going to San Diego Comic-Con. Just think about that. And time is money. That's the worst part of the whole thing. Waiting 2 hours. And I like a lot of people. I love my wife. I'm not waiting 2 hours for an action figure for her. I waited 2 hours for Squishmallows for my daughters. They really wanted 2 years ago. And now they're in the back of a closet. They don't even care about them anymore. And I wasted 2 hours of my life waiting. But I was a hero for a moment. A hero of the day, like a young Metallica once upon a time. But as much as I love you out there, I love you all. But I'm not waiting 2 hours for anybody at San Diego. Time is money, and it's hot, and it's sweaty. And if I can only buy one, well, guess what? If I only get one, and I'm lucky enough to get one, unfortunately, and really it makes sense, it's coming home with me. I want one personally for my collection. So it's not as easy as it sounds. And I know people will say, well, I don't want to pay $100 on eBay. Trust me, that's a heck of a value. You didn't have to wait in line. You didn't have to fly there. You didn't have to do all the rigmarole that comes into all that. So different ways to look at these things with the business hat. I do think they'll get out there. You just got to be careful. If you can't go there, you got to play a little of that long game, because you know there's going to be people that Wednesday when the show opens, they're going to be taking pictures, putting them on eBay. They'll be $400, and somebody's going to bite at that. And that's going to set the dangerous precedent. Play the long game. Wait a couple of weeks. Brody Lee, I believe, was the first San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from Jazzwares. It was going for like $200 immediately that day. Now you could probably get that thing for like 50, 60 bucks. And that was the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version. You know, I could be off a little bit there, but it does come down to earth. Be patient. Don't pay $400 on something like that. But it's your money at the end of the day. And you know, a wise man once told me, that was Todd McFarlane on the couch right over there. He said, Kyle, it's just money. You'll make more. Well, one day I won't make any more. I'll get let go from my job. We talked about that in the podcast this week. We talked a little bit of real life, a little survivor's guilt. Check out the podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, wherever podcasts are found. And that could be me one of these days. I fully know it. One of these days, they're going to call me in and say, Kyle, we don't need your services anymore. And then what do you do? Then what do you do, Todd McFarlane? Are you going to bail me out? Can I live on your couch then? And we'll see what happens there. We got off on a little bit of a tangent, but that is the Jazzware stuff. Of course, all in around the corner. We're going to see some reveals over there. Of course, San Diego Comic-Con reveals. Now, sounds to me, from my sources, I'm hearing we might get a little bit more at San Diego Comic-Con than All In, which is a little bit of a flip of the script. Either way, no matter how that goes, we'll be getting a lot of reveals in July. So a lot of people questioning, doubting Jazzwares in the AW line. Should be a heck of a lot clearer after July. So we'll stay tuned for all that. See if some of those old packs, like the Sting pack, get officially slotted somewhere. See if we end up getting some of this stuff. Just stay tuned is what I'll say. But also segueing over to the major pod over there. Of course, Big Rubber Guys, Major Bendy's. Lots of announcements this week. Of course, they are also going to be over there at All In. They're going to have a bit of a podcast. They're going to have a surprise guest. Well, read between the lines. Read between the lines. You guys read between them. No, don't read between these lines. I was just kidding. It's a little joke. It's a little, Chad, you read between these lines. But you know they got a guest over there. You know they're going to be announcing a figure for that person. Going to be very interesting to see what comes out of all of this. I would say stay tuned if I was you. But they'll be over there, of course, there. I think Matt and Brian are there on different days. But they will be over there filming some stuff. We'll stay tuned. And of course, we'll cover it all on the channel as usual. But they got a lot of stuff going on. I believe the 7th of July this week, Danhousen in stock drop, Big Rubber Guys. I really like that this is a totally different Danhousen than what we've got in the past. We've got a lot of similar Danhausens from all the different toy lines that have made him. This is different with the red, bright red, long tights. Just looks different, feels different. I'm definitely not opposed for a more traditional Danhausen in the future, but I do like the idea of this, and it is an in-stock drop, so be ready for that Danhausen. But now we celebrate the 4th of July, and if Hacksaw Jim Duggan's not there, the Ultimate Warrior's not there, Kurt Angle's not there, maybe the Steiner brothers, I don't know. Anyways, Macho Man Randy Savage speaks to the 4th of July. We've had 4th of July inspired machos in the past, but we're getting an amazing one from the Big Rubber Guys here. But unfortunately, 1 of 1,000. Now, a lot of Macho Man fans out there, a lot of Big Rubber Guy fans out there. Best be getting after that. And it did drop today. So depending, if you're a Patreon member, you're getting a heads up. But unfortunately, if you're watching this when it drops on traditional YouTube, it's probably already for sale. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. Maybe I'll release this in the morning and beat that. Either way, be on the lookout for Macho Man. That should be a very fun one. That's a must-have pickup, if you ask me. They also announced this week Curt Sloan Kickboxer Dancing Edition from that iconic meme, iconic thing of Kickboxer where Jean-Claude Van Damme is truly cutting a rug like a, I don't know, like a young James Brown, I guess is what he's doing. But an interesting one. Now, I don't think this is going to sell as well as the first Kickboxer. This is going to be a true litmus test. That's what they call it, Todd McFarlane, a litmus test. You can use that one at one of your board meetings if you want to. But that's going to be an interesting one because I don't think it's going to sell as much as the first Kickboxer. And I think there's a lot of people that supported the line just because, hey, I want to support the line. That's cool to get a Jean-Claude Van Damme. But I think a lot of people are saying, I'm good with just that one. I don't need this one. So I have to imagine this will be in a lot less quantities than this one by the time the dust settles. And I think this will tell where they can go in the future because there's no secret from the Big Rubber Guys. They want to branch out to all kinds of different stuff. Now, will they be able to? My gut says yes, but will everybody be able to afford all these? I don't think so. You know, Major Bendy's being around $20. That's okay. Big Rubber Guys around $50. That's a whole nother step up in price point. If you start putting out, you know, I think the most we've ever had in a month is 4. You start doing 6, 8, 10 from other toy lines, other things they want to do. People are going to have to pick and choose. I know, unfortunately, I will have to. I would love to be a completist, but man, if they do that much stuff, that's a lot of money. We all understand that. It might have to play the long game on some stuff as well. So they're truly at a little bit of a tipping point, and sometimes growing bigger isn't such a good thing. How many companies have jumped into Walmart and it's put themselves out of business by growing? I don't think they're going to have this problem here, but that's the extreme worst end there. But I hope they can keep it manageable. I hope they can, but I understand too, you want to follow the money. That's what Jesse Ventura, he tells us all the time, you got to follow the money. they're no different. They're going to follow the money. But I'm anxious to see how well this Curt Sloan does. I'm not sure if we'll ever know, but it'll be interesting. And like I said, litmus test could be the word of the week here. They're going to see how that one ends up doing. But looks cool for what it is. I'm on the fence, though. I'm on the fence. I'm totally complete on the big rubber guys so far, so I feel like I'll jump into it. But I might wait till the last minute. You know me. Last minute Kyle is what it is on that. But we're not done. Major Bendies keep on going with more big rubber guys, and this is one of the coolest things they've done in a long time, and they do a lot of cool stuff over there. And I'm not just saying that. I do think they do a lot of cool stuff. They do a lot of smart stuff, and that tells you what happens when you're a smaller company, that people that understand the business are running it. You get a lot of cool things, and this is one of them. Even cooler, they make you, if you want to choose your selection, they're doing a fan vote. We'll run through this. You can put your vote in, but in return, you have to put your email down, and that is extremely smart of them because now they get you on their email list. They can start soliciting you. Hey, up for pre-order, going now, going fast, whatever. Smart business move there. Don't just let people randomly vote. Get something out of it, and that's what they're doing. But they've put it up for a vote for the next big rubber guy. Now, I fully expect all of these guys are obviously signed, so I think we'll get all of these eventually. I think it's just this person's going to move to the front of the line. And our choices, Hercules, of course, the mighty Hercules, hopefully with chain. Paul Ellering, of course, the manager of the LOD, the Road Warriors. Reba, Tito Santana. No, not that Reba. That's fancy. Reba McEntire. Favorite of my wife. My wife's first ever concert, one Reba McEntire. My first ever concert, yep, you guessed it. Sammy Hagar, the Red Rocker. Oh boy, he was trying to give me a margarita from stage, and my aunt said, no, he's only like 12 years old. And Sammy said, who cares? No. But Tito Santana coming in hot, and then Hillbilly Jim, another old favorite, and Dangerous Danny Davis. Would have to assume, I was going to say assume he's in his ref gear, but I guess he could be in his wrestling gear. I don't know which way that goes. Sounds like a variant repaint in the future is what that sounds like to me. But you can only vote for one, and I think the Major Pod said on their podcast, Paul Ellering and Hercules maybe were leading, or Paul Ellering was leading. For me, though, I'm torn. I have not voted yet. I'm trying to decide. I really want Paul Ellering, and I'd want multiple versions of Paul Ellering to match, of course, the LOD Road Warriors. So that is a layup. I love the Road Warriors. That's where I'm leaning. However, the mighty Hercules, we got Hercules once upon a time, but that's not our Hercules. We want Herc just herking up, not hulking up, herking up is what we want, but we want him swinging the chain. That's what the Hercules we want in our collection. Once again, have to imagine that's coming. I would not be shocked if we don't get Power and Glory in the big rubber guys as well. Possibly the most underrated WWF tag team from back in the day. I think that is fair. I think they should have been tag team champions. But Hercules does... Hercules or Paul Ellering. I keep going back and forth. I can't choose. I might have to make my wife vote, and then we can vote for each of them is what I might have to do. Then they'll have her email. Oh no, watch out. But very cool idea there. Tito Santana feels like the worst one of the bunch. We got two Titos back then. He's not super toyetic unless we can get El Matador. I don't think that's the case. Danny Davis doesn't make me too excited either. I mean, I would take it for sure. And then Hillbilly Jim could be a cool one, could be a fun one, but man, he's probably one of the most produced LJNs back in the day. Of course, part of the rock and wrestling and all that. So not opposed to any of these. I would just love to see Hercules and Paul Ellering. I would be fine with either of those two winning. We'll see what ends up happening. Make sure you do get your vote in right there. But we're not done. We got more wrestling news. We keep on chugging along. Top Rope Collectibles this week showed off their Marcus Alexander Buff Bagwell figures from back in the day. You got the 2-pack with 2 Cold Scorpio. Pick your poison on your Marcus Alexander Bagwell. Galoob style, of course, of these figures here. KWK, of course, Club KWK. I'm a welcome in there. I got my collar popped here. Oh, man, you see McFarlane over here. I wish I could turn my camera. He's sitting there in a tank top. It's got a USA flag on it. He looks like Ugg from Salute Your Shorts. He's got the sunscreen on his nose. There's no sun down here. That's why all this stuff is nice and pristine. There's no sun getting in down here, Todd. You're going out to the pool, the kiddie pool out there? You can go join my wife. What's my wife doing out there right now? Lemmy's got his pool. He's living that pool life. That guy. You two kids have fun out there in that little pool. I don't know, Todd. But of course, KWK coming in hot with 3 variants of Bull Nakano this month. And I got to say, I think it puts the Bull Nakano from Cella to shame. Now, I'm not a huge retro sizing guy where people are like, oh, he's too tall, he's too short. to me, scale matters, but it's not the be-all, end-all for me in the retro figures. But man, this Bull Nakano is a giant compared to that Cello one once upon a time. But of course, available at all the usual retailers for them. Can't wait to check these ones out. J&J Figures, once again, gets an exclusive just for them. You're after Bull Nakano, you know where to go. But now we go over to Epic Toys, and apparently they made a little announcement this week that their latest wave will be shipping out to customers this month. You know I'm excited for this. We got Barry Windham, one of my favorite wrestlers from back in the day, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, Dr. Death Steve Williams, oh my gosh, get me that Dr. Death, and of course the Barbarian Antler Edition. I'm excited for this. Epic Toys has been knocking it out of the park, and it'll be fun to have these ones in hand here in the next couple of weeks. But we're not done with retros. Grapplers and Gimmicks. Mitch, our old friend, we did unbox Quang the Ninja and Jean-Pierre Lafitte this week on the channel, so check out those retro unboxings. But this week did officially announce Bastion Booger. He's coming back, and he's in the retro game. Very interesting, the digital images here. More gross, I guess, is what it seems like than the Zombie Sailor Edition once upon a time. Be very fun to put these two together to see which one you prefer. And as I always say, the Grapplers and Gimmicks more akin to Hasbro, where Zombie and the KWKs more like what the future of Hasbro would have been in my head. So it'd be cool to see this one here. Bastion Booger, apparently Mike Shaw getting his name out there for a lot of people. We saw Top Rope Collectibles going to do Norman the Lunatic. Would love to see Grapplers and Gimmicks do Norman the Lunatic. Of course, Fryer or Ferguson. I don't know if they can get away with that, but I'm sure they probably will try. They can get that one going. And then Trucker Norm, Norman the Lunatic. They go old school Micah Singh or... what is it? You guys know from the old Calgary days. So there's some meat on the bone with old Mike Shaw. So we'll see where that goes. And there will be a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from Grapplers and Gimmicks. So we'll have to stay tuned to that, see what they announce. I would have to imagine around San Diego Comic-Con timeframe makes sense. So we'll see that. And then right before I started filming this video, Grapplers and Gimmicks did post the regime next week. So there's going to be an announcement there. I would assume, you know what happens when you assume, Todd McFarlane, pre-orders possibly, maybe the Godwins. We'll see where that ends up going. Very excited. I do enjoy those figures from the Grapplers and Gimmicks. Very excited to see the evolution into a new scale with them as well. So we'll stay tuned for that. But that's all the retro news. But now we dive into our friends Power Town. Didn't want to put them at the top, but there is, of course, a Power Town update.
Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering?
I don't know, guys. It's just absolutely crazy. And I think I said it last week in the toy news. People coming at me saying I'm ruining the Power Town company, that I hope you can sleep at night because you're the one that put the nail in this up-and-coming company. I thought that was a little bit extreme. And if anything, Power Town does this to themselves. And if anything, I truly believe, and I only believe it because Todd McFarlane told it to me, that Power Town owes me a debt of gratitude to keep their name in the highlights for about a year now. Now, I've said it before, and I'm going to make it perfectly clear once again to you. Yes, you in the back that was saying it to me in messages. I do not need updates every single time, every single day from Power Town. I was messaged saying, oh, you're just clamoring. You want an update every single day. That's not feasible. I don't need an update every single day. Maybe every 6 weeks. I don't know what the perfect amount is. Some of these companies go too crazy with their messaging. Some go too little. There's different extremes of that. But Power Town could give us a little bit more along the way. Hey, here's the first one off the factory. Hey, here's an arm. Look at this. They're tooling Magnum TA. They're getting the tooling just ready for his Remco today, getting sealed and packaged. They can put those kind of things, poke the flames, get it popular, because pre-order's still open. We've talked about those shenanigans forever. But they don't need to give us daily updates, but some kind of communication. And then to come out with communication in April saying we're going to communicate more and then never communicate again, what are we doing right there? And people have been emailing. I've heard from tons of people that have emailed, requested cancellations, requested questions to get zip zero in return. So unfortunately, Power Town sends out these statements and it's just like words on a page. They don't mean them. They don't follow through. It's just a weird thing. And I always say it. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm the champion of this brand. This is who they want on their side. Me, a classics guy that loves Jakks Classic Superstars. I want this, my modern day classic superstars. I will be cheering this on. I enjoyed the first series of figures. It took forever to get there. Yes, I had some faults. My biggest gripes with them are their hands. I don't like how the hands are. I don't like the small feet. But besides that, good figures. I'm here for it. It's a weird scale. I'm here for it. Give me all the Power Town figures. but they are just can't get in out of the way of themselves on a daily basis. Now, I've been saying it, and I did a video this week on the channel where we covered all this crazy nonsense. I'm not going to drain it like I did in that video. Check out that video if you want more on Powertown. But I've been saying, why wouldn't they release it? The major pod said, hey, we're going to release Powertown figures. First thing I said is, why is Powertown not releasing these? What skin does the major pod have in this? And you put the conspiracy hat on, it almost makes it feel like they're business partners or something. And I don't believe they are. But somebody on the outside looking in could say, well, Major Pod must be involved in this because Powertown's not putting them out. They're doing it through Major Pod. Major Pod must have some investment in this. They're working for them as the branch of social media. It's fine you want to use Powertown. It's fine you want to send pictures to anybody. Send them to anybody. Send them to me if you want to, Powertown. We'll show them. We'll talk about them. You'll get your point across. But at the same time, put them on your website. I could see saying, hey, we're giving an exclusive first look to Major Pod on Monday. Tuesday, put them up on your website. Show the people that don't pay attention to Major Pod, don't follow that, whatever. They can go where they paid their money to see some updates there. And we didn't get that once again. And then to make things even crazier, mind-blowing, the Powertown put a response out because they didn't like the Major Pod sending out the pictures. Now, the Remco pictures, we already had seen those. There was nothing new to those pictures. Now, we did get some new pictures of the Ultras and the TNA. We'll talk about that here in a second. But then they were blasting and coming with shade at the Major Pod guys for sending those out without anything. Well, you don't send them any details, they're not going to pass on any details. I think that's the way it goes. Here's your pictures, show them. Well, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, just like the toy hunt I did on the channel today. So check out that video as well. It just doesn't make any sense what's going on over there. And a lot of people talking about Megalopolis and stuff, and Powertown's going to be one of those. I truly feel we'll get our figures, but I don't know if we'll ever get figures again. I don't know how they would ever ask for anybody. How could they ever look the fan base in the face and say, we'd like you to give money to us again? It's just not going to happen. They're going to have to figure out a way to go in stock. If I was them, and obviously they don't care about what I say. They think I'm just some guy that sits in his parents' basement. And I wish I was in my dad's basement. Todd, my dad's basement makes mine look like the Red Roof Inn, and he's living at the top of the house of the Four Seasons is what that is. Yeah, my dad, oh man, he doesn't mess around. He's got that huge cigar store Indian in there. He's got that big pool table, got that huge big screen TV. He's got all this classy furniture. There's a lot going on. Trust me, Magnum, Powertown, I would love to be in my dad's basement. Unfortunately, my cards were dealt. He kicked me out. I'm not kicking you out, Todd, though, that's for sure. But I'm just a guy speaking to 12 people. Be what it is. I still paid my hard-earned money to you guys. I'd still like to, get some updates along the way, or at least get the product, because we've been delayed like 4 or 5 times now. In this statement, they threw the Major Pod under the bus. To me, they threw him under the bus saying, they didn't properly communicate anything. Well, were they communicated properly too? I don't know. I'm very interested. Brian Myers back in like March, April said he's seen the TNA pictures. I would love to know if the pictures we saw this week were the same pictures he ended up seeing. My gut says no, or maybe he never saw them, or I don't know what happened there, but that seems very strange to me. There's messages going around from a good friend here that showed me a text. I guess he posted it in the Facebook group for Major Pod, but he was messaging with Steve from Powertown in January. He said, yep, they're shipping out tomorrow. And they should be on our docks in like a week or something like that. I forget what the message said exactly. That was a bold-faced lie. I don't understand how you can just lie to people. It's just, you're a business. You want to do anything to keep your business. That's why, if you're a business, you keep politics out of it. Don't talk about Donald Trump if you're a business. Don't talk about Kamala. Well, talk about the Ugandan giant, maybe not the Kamala that ran for president. You don't want to split your fan base. You don't want to split your audience up with your personal beliefs on any of that kind of stuff. You just don't want to do it. And Powertown here lying to their customers, just not good. And now we're hearing Remcos are going to be air delivered, ringside style. Well, they were on the boat 6 months ago. What is going on? What are we doing if there ever was one? There's just wild. And they said they're going to do the same thing with the TNA and the Ultra Series 2. And then they were very quick in that note, of course, and we covered it already in a video, but just doing the highlights here, that these are work in progresses. And if you would have saw the other stuff along the way, you would have known these are work in progresses. Well, we don't know they're work in progresses because you sent these out to the Major Pod to send to everybody. And these should have all been in our hands early fall of 2024. So we would expect these probably are final because they were supposed to be in our hand back then. But now they're just admitting by saying, hey, these aren't final, that they're nowhere near to even to production at this point. What has been going on the last year plus at this point with these figures? It's like they took our money and sat there. So it's so many shenanigans left and right. I know we shouldn't all get worked up about it, but if you're like me, you have well over $1,000 tied up into all this. And at the same time, it's interesting. I mean, it's like a car crash. I can't look away. I'm rubbernecking. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking around. I'm like, what is going on over there at Power Town? Because it just feels like mismanagement all across the board. I don't know what's going on, but I do know Greg Gagne is going to be in my neck of woods. What is that? The 19th of July. And maybe Greg and I should sit down for a special interview. Maybe Greg would want to spill some details to me. Greg, if you want to sit down with me, we can talk it out. I promise not to bring my dad, because you know what my dad says about Greg Gagne. It ruined professional wrestling for him. We won't bring that up, I don't think. But I just can't put my finger on what the heck's going on. And really, I don't think there's a conspiracy. I guess it's just inept business. And I like to use conspiracy because it's fun. We like to joke around and stuff, but it is unfortunately just inept business at this point. And it's just very disappointing because, like I said, I had so many high hopes for this. I had so many thoughts. I was going to finally get an Eric Embry figure maybe one of these days. I've always dreamed to get Jacques Rougeau's dad. Now those have probably just all fallen by the wayside. I'm going to have to start my own company. Todd, I need your help. Get the factory on the line. But I don't know. We're going to see what happens there, but just doesn't make any sense. They said they shipped. Just so many shenanigans. Fingers crossed for all of us that we get these figures. And if Power Town's going to continue, and it's their right to continue if they want to, but it's our right to support them or not. I just hope they say, hey guys, we're going to go in stock. And like, once again, if I was them, once all this is done, all this is shipped, okay, we're starting over. And they're going to do a figure a month. Do a figure a month and have it as an in-stock drop. Do that. Don't do a huge wave. Do one figure a month or a one figure a quarter even. Whatever they can do might be a little bit more palatable to the majority out there. So that's it. That's the toy news this week. I've said enough. I've done enough. We've almost been here for 40 minutes. Go enjoy your 4th of July. Go blow your fingers off. That's what I'm saying. Don't do that. Come back next week. But that's it for Toy News Wrestling. Once again, toy news, everything else, probably just as long tomorrow. We got a lot to dive into there. We got to talk about werewolves. We got to talk about sausages. We got to talk about Flint and bonus Snowcat. I got some amazing I don't know about me. I don't know where that amazing came from, but I got some big He-Man news where could the line be coming to an end? More on tomorrow's video. I got some insider sources, maybe something like that, but we'll talk all about that in the toy news tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my other YouTube channel. Don't forget Patreon, YouTube channel memberships. Don't forget SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. Me and my wife, Angie, break it down every single week over there on the podcast. And of course, don't forget all the other shenanigans that go along with it. There's a lot, let me tell you. But there it is for a 4th of July wrestling toy news. I'm Kyle. You know what I'm doing. I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling to the pool with my wife and Todd McFarlane.
Well, are we going to dance or are we going to play?